So let's talk about the Essential phone. And it's just, this phone keeps surprising me. I bought this phone for $500. Recently, it was actually on sale for $250. And it's just, this phone has been nothing but surprises to me. So a lot of people are not happy with the phone, but I've always just been, I've been a fan of the phone. I've been a fan of the company, and the thing I love most about this is that they're simple. They don't complicate things. They try to keep everything as clean and neat as possible. That goes right into my style. That's exactly what I kind of like. The Essential phone PH1, their first phone, has been, it's suffered a lot of controversy. But one thing it's done right, and it has continued to prove, is that it's a good stock Android phone. And it just proved it again with Android 9 Pie. So Android 9 Pie released 2 days ago to the Pixel phones, and on the same day it was released to the Pixel and Pixel 2, it was released for the Essential phone as well. So, I mean, I understand that there's not any bloatware and they can just push the same software out, but the fact that they were able to do it the same day without any delays is just astonishing. It kind of makes me sad that the company is right now, going through so many changes, and their future is kind of uncertain, because I would really like to see this company succeed. It's done a lot of good things, it's learned a lot in the short time it's been around, and I feel like if they were given another shot, they would really come out with something interesting. So right now we're going to look at the key changes with the Android 8.1 and Android 9 on the Essential phone. And overall, the biggest change I have to say is just the aesthetics. The look of the UI, it's changed a lot, and especially the way you interact with it, thanks to this new little gesture bar there. I'll get into that later, but overall, the phone is, I'm just going to tell you right off the bat, the performance feels about the same. The Geekbench numbers and Antutu numbers back me up on that, so let me just show you that before I show you the new features. So right here is the Geekbench score before I updated. So on 8.1 it was at 1912 single core, 6660 multi-core, and 206,741 on Antutu benchmarks. Whereas when I updated, it had a 1932 single core score and a 6604 Geekbench score on multi-core, and for Antutu it was 202,474. So Antutu slightly dropped, Geekbench slightly went up, so it kind of averaged out there. But overall, the phone feels just as fast and just as smooth as it did before the update. So what does this update bring to the Essential phone? So right off the bat, the navigation bar right down here. So the navigation bar used to be a triangle, a circle, and a square. That would be the back button, home button, and the multitasking button. It's been cleared out, and now there's the small little bar, very similar to the iPhone 10, and it's going to bring you these gestures. So if you slide up, you're in your multitasking tray. If you slide up one more time, you go to your app tray, and you do get the little back button come up when there's a situation where you would have to go back. So they still haven't completely ditched the back button. It's still there, but the multitasking is completely gone. The only way to access that now is pushing this up. Now, this isn't compulsory yet. You could use the older layout if you wanted. Personally, I think there's no point. This is the way the future is moving. It's pretty clear. So it's just really cool to have this feature right now. So with the new gestures as well, I'll show you how it works. So one slide up brings the multitasking tray, 2 slides up brings you the app tray, and there is a back button as well. Now, say you're in this app and you want to move to the next app. If you swipe right, you can move up to 2 apps over, and then it'll just take you home. So, I mean, with the iPhone 10, you could just keep swiping left and right at the bottom, and it'll keep taking you between all the open apps. But Android is kind of limited to 2 right now. I'm fairly certain as they kind of work through things, we'll kind of get a similar layout on that as well. It's just been a game of, copy-paste on Android and iPhone forever now. Android does something nice, Apple copies it over. Apple does something, Android copies it over. So it's kind of cool to see it all look a little bit more similar, a lot more consistent would be the right word in my opinion. So let's look at one of the newer features, which is the control center. So the control center is a lot more interesting now. It's rounded. They have these rounded toggles instead of just the shapes of the toggles that you wanted. It's also rocking that new dark mode. So there was the dark mode before. It was dependent on whether you had a lighter or darker background. It was there on the Pixel. On Essential, it really wasn't. It was just the same throughout. But now you do get the option of getting dark mode and light mode. You could toggle that, or you could leave it automatic. So if you have a dark background like I do, it'll automatically give you dark mode. But if you have a lighter background, it'll give you the light mode. But the thing is, the dark mode is limited. The only two places where it'll show up is this control center and your app tray where it's blacked out. So another new feature is obviously this multitasking tray. The multitasking tray kind of swipes left to right now instead of the stacked view where it was kind of like a Rolodex from top to bottom. You kind of went through that. This, you just swipe left to right. You get the full app preview before anything else. And then if you swipe all the way to the left, you get the clear all. If you clear all the open apps get closed out. Just overall, a little bit neater. So another feature with Android Pie is you do get the notch support now. So if you wanted, you could have, say, a double cutout where the notch will cut out for the top and bottom. You can have a cutout that's tall that kind of just takes this spot. And you could have a corner one, which is this corner here for some reason. I don't know why anybody would think that's a good idea, or you could just leave it at none and there's no notch cut out anywhere on the display. Overall, it's just done so that the OEMs can implement it in a way where the software supports it as well and it doesn't get lost. A lot of features on this phone, it kind of gets hidden behind the notch, especially in apps that don't support it well enough, kind of like Instagram. A lot of things are hidden behind the notch. With this, it kind of reduces that. I'm not a big fan of the way notches are kind of being implemented. It's just the way it is right now, so I won't complain too much about it. Another cool new feature is the volume HUD. It's not really a feature, it's just the way it is now. So it used to be a bar at the top, if you guys remember. Now it's just this little slider on the right, so you can slide it up or down. And it works the same way as it did at the top, but it's just a lot smaller and condensed into the side now. So if you were using it with one hand, it would be just a lot easier to toggle. I don't know if I prefer this or the top one more. I'll have to use it a little bit more to ascertain where I stand on that. But overall, it's just a nice little addition. There's also this new option with screenshots. Previously, if you screenshotted something, you'd take the screenshot, it'll show you that preview for a second, and it would go away. And if you swipe down, it would show you the screenshot captured. If you tapped on that notification, it'll take you into your gallery. Here, what you can do actually is, once you get the screenshot, you'll actually get this tab right here, where once it's saved, you can directly edit, share, or delete from here. So if I want to edit it, I could, add a filter on it. I could crop it if I wanted, and I just get all these features right off the bat. Very cool and very helpful. I'm going to discard this for now because it's really, there's no use to it, but it's cool to have that. Apple implemented this in iOS 11. It has been on some Android skins, if I'm not wrong, but on OEM stock Android, this is the first time we're getting the screenshot edit feature directly onto here. Previously, you'd kind of have to go into your gallery. You'd have to mark up from there. Here, it's just right there when you take it immediately. So very helpful when you want to, take a quick screenshot information, send it to someone, but you want to crop it or mark up something. Overall, very interesting. And then moving on, with the overall look and aesthetic feel, there's some changes to the settings app as well. So instead of just having those gray icons and just having a completely gray and white, look, it's a lot more colorful, a lot more vibrant. There's just a lot more, it looks a lot nicer, to be very honest with you. The splashes of color with those little icons have helped a lot. And you do get some more information. So right now it says battery. So with battery, it says, should last until 8:45 a.m. It wasn't this detailed before. You would get something along the lines of 1 day battery remaining or 34 hours or something like that. Now, you go in, the battery is also a lot less cluttered. There used to be a ton of options and settings inside this. They've kind of shortened it up, made it look a lot less cluttered. And you do get your battery saver and all that. One good thing I do like about battery saver is, if you remember before, what battery saver would do is both the navigation bar and the notification bar at the top, it would both make them red when it was in battery saver mode, and I had no idea why they did that. Now, when you turn on the mode, it just gives you this small little red battery icon. So only the battery icon is red, notification bar, the control center at the bottom, everything else is just normal. So that's a really good improvement. I really didn't like the way that it was just read out. A lot nicer now. And then you also have Battery Manager. What Battery Manager does is it detects the apps that are taking a lot of background processes and keeping the Wi-Fi running or stuff like that. It'll kill those apps when you're not using them a lot to conserve battery for apps that you are using. Generally a good feature for people who are running out of battery quick and they just want to keep things a lot more organized and tidy. So nice feature to have there. I do have it enabled and it really doesn't affect my usage too much and it saves me a little bit of battery, so why not? And the next change we have is with the always on display. So when you have the always on display right now, you can get the battery. So before you didn't have this battery layout at the bottom. I'm sorry, it just kind of goes away really quickly on this phone. It doesn't always stay on. So right here at the bottom, you get the battery. You also get some more information. So you'd get your weather if you had a Pixel phone. And it's just overall giving you more information. And actually, they changed up the text as well a little bit, the font. So it looks a little bit neater as well. And then moving on, another really, really interesting feature that I think that, you know, a lot of, even Apple implemented this, is called lockdown. So what lockdown does is, I'm just going to show you. It's gonna, if you hold your power button down, you get power off, restart, and there's something called lockdown. If you hit lockdown, it immediately locks your phone. And what it does is, now, you just saw me unlock with the fingerprint a couple seconds ago. Now this, if I try to unlock with my fingerprint, it just asks for the passcode. It won't let me. And the depth of this feature is, it just doesn't disable your fingerprint. It will disable all biometric codes. It will disable everything else like that. It's also going to get rid of your smart unlock feature. So say you have a smart unlock feature set up for, you know, unlock the phone without a passcode from this time to this time, or unlock when you're on a certain Wi-Fi. It's going to disable all of that. So, you know, there's been a lot of laws and controversy in the US at least, where police officers could force you to give your biometric, you know, use facial recognition or your fingerprint to unlock your phone, but you didn't have to tell them your passcode. So this way, if you feel like you're in a situation where you don't want your phone, your biometrics used without your permission, you can just kind of lock down the phone, and the only way to get in at that point would be enabling your password. And once you enable the passcode, it turns off, and you can just do the normal. So you just saw me enter the passcode. Again, if I lock the phone, I can just unlock it with my fingerprint. As simple as that. A good feature to have. Apple has something similar as well, and it's cool to see it on Android as well. So that wraps up the changes on the Essential phone. Really, it wasn't the world's biggest update, but the small features they added, the gesture controls and all that, it's been a big help. And I feel like it just hints more towards what the next generation of Android devices are going to look like. I'm very excited that Essential was such a, you know, it was just such a quick update for Essential. And it gives me hope that maybe there's a lot more to come from that company, especially if they're, you know, so on the ball. They haven't given up hope, obviously, and I hope that in the future we see a lot more from Essential. I'd also like to point out that in my couple of hours of usage of the phone, it hasn't gotten hot. I haven't seen any battery drainage, and it doesn't feel like there was a major update done to the phone. It just acts very normally. I'm very happy that's happening, because a lot of times with major updates on any software, there's a lot of bugs initially. With the Android 9 Pie, it's been very smooth on the Essential phone, and I look forward to keep using this. And I'm looking forward to using this more and kind of getting used to it. And if there are any changes, I will be definitely updating you guys, maybe on Twitter or with another video. So definitely follow me there on Twitter and on just Instagram and other social media. I have all the links down in the description below. And wrapping up this video, guys, let me know what you think about Android 9 Pie. I think it's just a great update, and I'm very impressed that Essential's so on top of the ball and releasing these updates quickly. And let me know if there's anything else you want to see about Android 9 Pie. I'm going to be making another video comparing the Pixels. So I do have a first generation Pixel and a Pixel 2, so I'll kind of compare those two, see what the differences between them are like, and just overall it should be a good comparison on that side. So if you're excited to see that video, be sure to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, guys, and thank you so much for watching. Have a great day.